I just had a question for you guys
Yes, sir.
about the Ghislaine Maxwell thing because I was taking notes on some stuff for a while, and I just came to think about how the whole Epstein scandal seems to always come back to, I guess, the current politics movement away from like luxury beliefs and things like that. And so, kind of the Ghislaine Maxwell thing falls into that a little bit over, I guess, America's hatred of how richer people seem to get away with things more easily, and whether or not Ghislaine Maxwell's not her freedom, but I guess her what she could get back from speaking is with also the value of that. So people don't necessarily want her to be pardoned, but are there other ways that she can be, I guess, gain remedies that are outside of a pardon if her testimony is worth a certain amount in terms of its political outcomes?
You mean like writing a book or
Or
giving paid
can
speeches?
she be immunized? Is that what you mean?
I,
Like if she were to be pardoned, like she still faces charges elsewhere potentially. So it's like,
Well,
how much is a pardon even worth?
well, it's interesting, Patrick, as you said, the political outcome. I think the only reason you would ever dare to entertain any kind of immunity for someone who engaged in the horrific crimes that she engaged in is if it leads to more criminal convictions
right.
of people, not for political purposes.
Yeah.
So if in some way her testimony led to more criminal convictions, and I think some people are suspicious of this because they believe that the investigators didn't want to go there. They wanted to convict her and get her away, but if she could actually lead to some of these powerful people getting convicted, they didn't want to hear about it. They didn't want to know about it because they're protecting the so-called clients. That's, I think, where a lot of the suspicion is stemming from. You know what I mean?
Very well said. Michael, any thoughts on that?
Well, can I just go back to the topic itself of this Epstein thing? Because I find it fascinating. You know, in one sense, as a Democrat, it's fun to see Trump, you know, squirm a little bit and be so angry that the press is focused on something completely, you know, shallow and somewhat irrelevant to the public interest. But because after what Biden went through for a long time, being very boring and trying to pass like legitimate legislation, which Trump believes he did. But clearly both sides, I mean, first of all, I think this is the kind of thing where it's like, not my clowns, not my circus. Trump made his deal with conspiracy theorists a long time ago. He's sort of reaping what he sowed. If there's a backlash to him from that crowd, it's because he entertained them for so long. At the same time, it's all Democrats and the left-wing media wants to talk about, which means, which tells me that they don't have much else to offer at this point. I was watching hosts on a cable news network this morning talk about how Trump's throwing all these distractions out to distract from Epstein. Yet, you know, they're talking, all they're doing is talking about Epstein. I don't know. I just find it an interesting media situation that we're in.
Yeah, I agree. I will say, though, to suggest that things were just so boring under Biden, that's because nobody asked any questions, Michael. I mean, I know you worked for the First Lady, but I mean, let's face it. I mean,
well,
the things that involved the Biden family that were sort of despicable.
Okay, well,
those questions were asked, really.
I have a lot of disagreements about weaponizing children and family as opposed to focusing on substance. However, there were a lot of things that the president would have preferred to be talking about instead of his son or his aide, like the American Rescue Plan, things that are not sexy by the media standards. And I think part of the press that covers the White House was tempered by a very combative relationship with Trump because he was so engaging and loved to jostle with the press. And there was not that kind of dramatic engagement from our more traditional White House, who really didn't know how to drive news anyway.
Yeah.
For entertainment value.
To your point about Trump sort of dabbling in conspiracies here and there, or at least the audience for conspiracies to build support, and I 100% agree with you. I think one of the major problems with this for the Trump administration that sort of reached ahead a couple of weeks ago is the fact that the deputy director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, incredibly talented and smart guy, this was a major part of building up his name and his reputation in going after what he believed, what he was told were legitimate Epstein scandals. He said he had sources in the Justice Department who said that this thing is, stinks to high heaven. Then he gets in and he says, oh no, case closed. If that's the case, I think he should reveal who those people were in the Justice Department back when he was a podcaster telling him all those.
Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.